keeps me chill. Kingdom stepping on all, you know what I'm talking about. I was driving down that lonely road and Jesus took the wheel. You know I keep it real. The Bible keeps me chill.
Something I want to ask you, darling.
Feeling kinda salty, man, a fisherman just caught me. Ain't looking like Lot's wife, no you can't insult me. Took her offer to the altar, then I got an offspring. Made some records, killed depression, now we kingdom stomping. I was only feeling lonely when I was chilling with them phonies. Yeah, you know the old me, but do you know what's holy? Sarah didn't get it first cause Hagar was more faithful. Be thankful, got a bank full. He made me whole, forever grateful. London Green on the beat, Holy Spirit enabled. He set a table in front of our enemies. Call on Jesus' name when the devil brings up memories. I look outside and I see the green here. I look at God and like, I was driving down that lonely road and Jesus took the wheel. You know I keep it real. The Bible keeps me chill. Keep stepping on all of my talking. I was driving down that lonely road and Jesus took the wheel. You know I keep it real. The Bible keeps me chill.
Something I want to ask you, darling.
I was driving down that lonely road and Jesus took the wheel. You know I keep it real. The Bible keeps me chill. Kingdom stepping on, you know what I'm talking about?
And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment, so Christ was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto salvation.
See, I done traveled down some burnt roads, ignorant to the woes, and yeah, I learned those. And I ain't saying I'm a G, but yeah, I earned those. Guess I wasn't no much, couldn't discern foes, but I'm older now. Became a man, put away those childish things, started focusing on the reason I'm here and standing bolder now. And now I got a little daughter to look after, gotta teach her what it is, with a mother who can show her how. And I ain't perfect, believe me, I'm nothing near it. I'm just passing off the words that he say, so y'all can hear it. Not the rain on your parade, but to get it up in your spirit. How you know that we approaching the day, and y'all don't fear it? Haven't you noticed the change? Something shifting in the wind. Way of living that we know will soon be shifting to an end. And I ain't playing with your partner, this ain't for pretend. Better practice your aim, and haven't you noticed the war we in? Satan got it dumber than we ever been. Intellectual fools would think we clever. Sin filled to the brim of the cup, beyond the leveling. Could it be ending with us? Now let that settle in. So you know you gotta make a choice. Either go against the grain and uniting as one voice, one body, one mind, one heart for one God. My advice when you decide to start, you run. See, you don't know me, the things that I've been through, but I ain't special. Know that some of y'all been too. But Satan on the mission, they gon' start till he bend you. Some of y'all don't wanna hear it, but I got to offend you. Cause it's your life, I'm just a messenger, preferring the way. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say, so you can live your life with no pretending it's too urgent to play. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say, as I'm screaming out redemption, redemption, redemption. To anybody who's willing to listen, to the humble heart of a man with intentions of doing God's plan. But it's your life, I'm just a messenger, preferring the way. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say, so you can live your life, but no pretending it's too urgent to play. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say, hear the words that I say. Murder, murder, but the funny thing about it is that we seem to want more. Got the block on fire, gun blazing every hood, but it's all good with you till it's at your front door. You ain't bout that. Wanna be hard knock, but you ain't Jake. Taking credit and trying to reduce that you ain't pay. Claiming territory in the world where you can't stay. How you claiming to know the game of life when you can't play? It's 3 to 2 day wait. You miss the hoop they slay and take the game and leave you here to get the boot. Tailgate behind a bunch of individuals who choose hellgate. The time of judgment where you left with no excuse. Shellgate. If they oppose you, sold your soul to the reaper of Gehenna, and you with them. Should I go a little deeper till you get it? Can't you see it? The perversion of a nation and creation, living in abomination, trying to get you all to be an empire of homosexuals. Just being Mary Jane in a land full of scandal, but the story's still the same. Y'all just looking at the picture, need to be behind the frame. Satan doing everything to take the glory from his name. Through the ones he loved the most, the reason that Jesus came and shed his blood just to keep you fulfilling the heat of flame. It's the love of the Savior, the reason you in the game. Need to tighten up, show him the reason you want to. See, you don't know me, the things that I've been through, but But I ain't special, notice some of y'all been too. But Satan on the mission, they gon' start till he bend you. Some of y'all don't wanna hear it, but I got to offend you. Cause it's your life, I'm just a messenger, preferring the way. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say. So you can live your life with no pretending it's too urgent to play. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say. As I'm screaming out redemption, redemption, redemption. To anybody who's willing to listen, to the humble heart of a man with intentions of doing God's plan. But it's your life, I'm just a messenger, preferring the way. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say. So you can live your life, but no pretending it's too urgent to play. Don't look at me, hear the words that I say. Hear the words that I say.
Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of God, whereby ye are sealed unto the day of redemption.
Yes, I've been sanctified. Triumph Productions.
Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love.
Jesus, you're so glorious, trust. Lead us before the devil defeats us. We've been waiting, fasting and praying, lasting through the pain, sunshine or the rain. Open your head, these here, please for mercy. Frenemies hurt me, but you don't desert me. When the stress gets larger than a double X, the more I pray, the smaller the trouble gets. I went from hell to where the angels dwell, to lay your treasures in heavenly realms. And don't tell, dedicate my life to Christ, the one and only. With the Holy Ghost I won't be lonely. When troubles in my life, he'll show me how to overcome with my testimony. I desire holy fire, prayer stay burning. Praise the Christ, born of a virgin.
Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love.
Still living, still driven, still giving the great commission. He's risen, we need his infilling every day of the month. Friend or foe, let him know we'll be praying him up. Giving praise on your veranda, throw your hand up. Lift up a praise from UK to Uganda, from Canada to America. He's taking your shackles off like Tina and Erica. Even Angelica, Patsy and Jennifer. No, say Christ at the starter and finisher. I regret committing sins in the flesh. I was in a test, flirting with a temptress. In my wilderness, I questioned if God would save me. You made me, why would you play me? At the rapture, wanna be ready to roll when the Son of Man comes back to take the church home.
Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love.
Lion of Judah, heavenly ruler, king of the Jews, we call him Messiah Yeshua. You heard of him, the Nephilim, I'm scared of him, never in a rush like adrenaline. Power from the sun in my melanin, ready for Armageddon. You're telling them save yourself from a world in rebellion. If you try to keep your life, you're gonna lose it. If you give your life to Christ, he's gonna use it.
Sanctify my love,
That's what I'm saying, y'all.
send her from above.
Gotta know this.
Sanctify my love,
Hallelujah.
send her from above.
Lion of Judah,
Sanctify my love,
I've been changed.
send her from above.
Never be the same.
Sanctify my love, sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love, send her from above. Sanctify my love.
Yeah, yeah.
this time. Hey, okay, that sound like the pitch. That sound good. They talking, I can't even hear. Hey, what you say? They hating, I don't really care. Cause I be in the clouds, floating in the air. Hey, glancing down at these people, like man, they're so small. And I feel good, I feel real tall. And I feel like I can do anything. Think I'm plugged in with the team. And man, it feel good. And I know I'm misunderstood. Because I'm so untraditional. Sold out, believer, not religious, but I'm spiritual. Yeah. And also I'm clean of mind. I'm putting in that work for my God. I'm out here clean and grind. Yeah. They tryna stop me, but I won't let them. They say I'm wrong, that's what I tell them. Okay, I'm just spiritual, non-traditional. I am not alone, I just thought that you should know. I'm not religious, I'm killing tradition. I'm working for the king, this is kingdom business. And I'm feeling so free. It feels good to be me. Man, I'm feeling so free. It feels good to be me.
Feeling free like an inmate that just got out. Used to be bound by sin, call it that lockdown. That's right. Now I'm plugged in, no turning back. I'm about my father's business, you can quote that. And a lot of these churches, they trying to hold me back. Tell her what I do for God that he don't support that. But ain't nobody got time for that. I ain't got time to listen. Romans 8:31 on my brain, I ain't tripping. Someone hit the streets with my snapback. They don't wanna come to church. Someone take the church away, they at. I'm so committed, unashamed with it. I'm round and I'm getting it. Temperature on 212, no fever, but the sun on me. Be the salt of the earth, that's what the sun told me. 1 Peter 2:9, yeah, it's all on me. Religious blockers on me. Now I'm on fleek. I'm on my Ray Charles. These haters I can't
I'm just
see.
spiritual, non-traditional. I am not alone, I just thought that you should know. I'm not religious, I'm killing tradition. I'm working for the king, this is kingdom business. And I'm feeling so free. It feels good to be me. Man, I'm feeling so free. It feels good to be me. I'm just spiritual, non-traditional. I am not alone, I just thought that you should know. I'm not religious, I'm killing tradition. I'm working for the king, this is kingdom business. And I'm feeling so free. It feels good to be me. Man, I'm feeling so free. It feels good to be me. Yeah.
We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. It's the crucible. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. It's the crucible. Black and gifted, that's my life sentence. God be my witness, been a beast since an infant. Infinite wisdom is what I be given. Every time I grab the mic, then my focus starts spinning. Shine a light on me to see how I be shining. I'm a diamond. Press me up against the glass to see how I be grinding. Lifting up God so you can see how high I'm climbing. Presidential in the Lord, I must be abiding. In the most high, sometimes I'm too fly for myself. I need to be more humble, put that OG on the shelf. Went down to the depths of the cave, only to return another brother that can never be a slave. Still being used by God. I'm 59 with fire, trials, victory, cold. Put them all together, came out like pure gold. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. It's the crucible. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame, never be the same. It's the crucible. I'm a a work in progress. Obsessive with the process, rejecting that which costs less. I work to my flex is flawless. Yes, when life gets at its hardest, that's when we just getting started. Me and God be like art and artists, you can't afford it. I'm burning at the temperature that's hot and scorching. Something awesome to start, far from torment. Heart be flame retardant. As long as pressure bust pipes, Fred will bust mics. Standing upright at full height, bearing stripes like a general. Cause it's been a while since I've been around. Speak what's on my mind, cause I got that tenure now. Hey, and this is what I found, that we all live in contradictions. Instead of submitting to wisdom, we rather hack the system. Around it ain't no getting, all this gold requires digging. In the cold, the diamonds hidden. These are riddles, kiddos, listen. Ain't no quitting, you too close to fulfilling the mission. Stay in position till the vision comes into full fruition. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. It's the crucible. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. It's the crucible. We got weight in this game. You know the name. God one and the same. The Lord gets heat, fanning the flame. If my gold shine, He is the blame. These devils on the dash, I'm renaming them dame. I'm not ashamed. No disto, cooking holy oil like Crisco. I'm ash over water, redistribute like distro. His fire consumes all water and stone. If the heaven is home, then your idol is blown. Been through the furnace, lessons been learned. Many trials by the fire, at times we got burned. Whoa, son of the sun, the truth, and one word. My non-pop, high-caliber fruit like angry birds. Melted to dross, gained by the loss. This is the cost, I'm the human torch. Christ is the rock, the spirit, invisible. The Father's fantastic stretch points, that's critical. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. We've been tossed in the flame. With heat, everything changed. We've been tossed in the flame. Never be the same. We've been tossed in the
People are out there risking their life to stop human trafficking. They're rescuing children from human trafficking.
Yes.
What is this?
We're dedicated to demolishing the duties of Satan. There's no debating, the anointing's permeating our statements. We're standing firm in His patience and power by grace amazing. Covered in the blood of Yeshua who died to save us. We're saving babies, better step away like dogs with rabies. Our God ain't playing, you better repent and receive salvation. The time is now, swallow your pride, laying it down. Don't get stuck eternally bound, repent right now. The kids are not commodities for your pleasures aside of me. Obviously you're off your rocker and lost your mind like a lobotomy. Let's get properly understood. We won't stand for that, but we'll stand firm until the Son of Man comes back. And that's a fact, we're empowered contestants. You don't want that smoke the holy fire is blessed with. Understand this, that it's better to shark swim than to hurt one of these kids for a spiritual death wish.
It would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. So watch yourselves.
Yeah, you can get it if you want that fire, but I advise that you don't cross that line. We ain't playing about our children, our God. If you cross that red line, you done lost your mind. You can get it if you want that fire, but I advise that you don't cross that line. We don't play about our children, our God. If you cross that red line, you done lost your mind. Yeshua the Messiah's the one you poking and prying. You think you bold as a lion until your soul is deep frying. You don't want that kind of smoke. The King of Kings is not a joke. If you're playing Judas, you are stupid jumping through a rope. What you own is not worth your soul. You gotta let it go. What you know is not all that's known. Yeshua died and rose, so we advise you comply and repent. Yeshua's coming back and you can't pay him for your debt. Jesus paid a price, one that none could afford. We're praising you, Lord, and thank you for the grace that you pour upon us, divinely powered for such an hour, bearing much fruit, giving glory to the Father. Abba, you don't want no problems, He solved it. Miracle worker, like the seas just parted. Think harder, don't let your brain get slaughtered. His grace and mercy's offered, only fools would discard it.
These are sources that, the best we have, that say that there's close to 6 million children or more who are forced into sex slavery, labor slavery, or organ harvesting.
Yeah, you can get it if you want that fire, but I advise that you don't cross that line. We ain't playing about our children, our God. If you cross that red line, you done lost your mind. You can get it if you want that fire, but I advise that you don't cross that line. We don't play about our children, our God. If you cross that red line, you done lost your mind.
I'm blessed, covered by the blood. No stress, ain't no giving up. Standing tall, ain't no fearing us. Favor, favor, favor all on us.
Favor, 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 favor. Baby, all like Fred, why you always smiling? Always keep your man in miling. Always breathing in deep like you be sighing. And I be like, briefly silent. Trying to find the right reply, complying to their mental alignment. Explanations I be applying to this phenomena. Define the definition. I wish I could give you this feeling like common said it. No, really, I'm not no synthetic medics. My head is steady cause my heart is embedded. The joy that I exhibit, know the world they did not give it. So no, they cannot strip it if I say that they don't get it. And I be like, dig it. I have been acquitted from all of the sins I ever committed, past, future, and present. But nah, that's too religious. I hear them like that and kill my witness and incomprehensive synthesis that they'll be blended, both spirit and scientific. That when they hear it, they come near it. So I keep it simplistic and tell them favor.
I'm blessed, covered by the blood. Favor, no stress, ain't no giving up. Favor, standing tall, ain't no fearing us. Favor, 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 favor all on us. Favor, I'm blessed, covered by the blood. Favor, no stress, ain't no giving up. Favor, standing tall, ain't no fearing us. Favor, 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 favor all on us.
Stuck in jail without bail, Pittsburgh City dreaming. See, man, them inner demons had me for a season. I'm bobbing and weaving, striving for what I believe in. Hard to find peace in the belly of the beast, to say the least. Facing situations that got me praying, I'm waiting. All that I've been saying, like when I was wailing, Lord, if you get me out this mess, I promise. Looking back, it wasn't really the prayer that you wanted. Nah, I had to see that actually the prayer that I should have prayed was, Lord, get this mess out of me. That changed my spirit's anatomy dramatically. I'm walking on a yard, brothers look at me like, ooh wee. I count my blessings like a baker's dozen. Psalm 46 and 10 be still in way destruction. You're blessed even when you think you thought you wasn't. Take it from a prisoner, 051965 Jones. Favor.
I'm blessed, covered by the blood. Favor, no stress, ain't no giving up. Favor, standing tall, ain't no fearing us. Favor, 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 favor all on us. Favor, I'm blessed, covered by the blood. Favor, no stress, ain't no giving up. Favor, standing tall, ain't no fearing us. Favor, 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 favor all on us. Favor.
What's favor? Unmerited grace. Our sins replace the wrath of God about face.
Favor.
What's favor? Unmerited grace. Our sins replace the wrath of God about face.
Favor.
What's favor? Unmerited grace. Our sins replace the wrath of God about face.
Favor.
What's favor? Unmerited grace. Yo, I'm on assignment from the Most High, always with me close by. Presented the bread and water, feasting on tea and toast. I'm living the life from the lifeline, flow with the oil of God, just like a pipeline. Might I give you an explanation, a declaration to clear up deviations and defecations from the truth that some are speaking and stating while devils are defacing and some debating. Did God really say favor and blessings are not the same but coefficients? One multiplies the other, God's favor so sufficient. Now what you thinking? Lungs breathing, heart beating, body moving, my proof. The man right here, favor it ain't fair. If you Google the sin and death, his name ain't there. We blessed and highly favored. Now look to your neighbor. We say my God is able and grace, and that's your breakthrough. Favor.
I'm blessed, covered by the blood. Favor, no stress, ain't no giving up. Favor, standing tall, ain't no fearing us. Favor, 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 favor all on us. Favor, I'm blessed, covered by the blood. Favor, no stress, ain't no giving up. Favor, standing tall, ain't no fearing us. Favor, 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 favor all on us.
A word from the author, A Father's Daughter by LaCarol Lynn Brock. As you read this story, it is my desire for you to understand a few things. No matter who you are, what you've done, or where you have been, as long as you have breath in your body, you are still redeemable. The King of Glory will always accept you rather than throw you away. A father's daughter. Following is a testimony from dfcmarket.com.
What is my name? My name is Michael Douglas Scott. I've had chronic pain for the past 15 years. As I age, I get more pains. I have degenerative arthritis. I have basically 14 different medications, and they range from sleep apnea, trazodone, to ibuprofen, to meloxicam, to gabapentin, to these are pain medications, about 6 different pain medications, medications to go to sleep. And I learned about the immune support through Ernest Warren. He's a real good friend of mine. Do something, and he wanted to know how it made me feel. But it made me feel like a young boy again, you know. And it caused me to be feeling full of life, full of energy. When I took the super immune support, I saw results the second day. Several friends who really wonder what the heck's gotten into me, because I'm jumping all over the place. I catch the bus and the train. I drive my van to the train station and use the stairs. And every chance, all day I'm jumping up and down and doing push-ups, not push off the walls, jumping jacks, just full of energy. I've lost 25 pounds since December the 5th. I want to tell the world. I'll stand on the mountaintop and tell the world how good this stuff is on me. It takes care of me. My name is Michael D. Scott, and I take super immune support, beta glucan, and I think you should too.
Visit www.dfcmarket.com for more information. Can help you put the pieces together. Audiobooks, flyers, commercials, and more. Angie BEE Productions on Facebook.
Welcome to Books and Besties, the virtual book fair. Share this link with others and get ready for something awesome. Books and Besties, the virtual book fair.
Hey, everybody. I'm so busy jamming to our background track from DJ Shaheem. Thank you, Shaheem. I appreciate it. Welcome to today's episode of Books and Besties, the virtual book fair. We have got a wonderful assortment of authors, entrepreneurs, ministry, and community leaders that we are going to introduce you to today. But before we get started, I gotta bring in somebody special. Author Avalon is my co-host and a part of my foundational system for this program. When I'm not ready for it, she reminds me that this is an important broadcast, and the importance of it is that it gives glory to God. So, Avalon, come on in and say good morning to the people.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, dear.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
There you are. I can see
Angie,
you.
how are you?
Oh, it's so good to see you.
You too. How you been?
Hey, every day is a better day. So we've got a nice lineup of guests today. Thanks to you. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
And before we get going with everybody, I wanna open in prayer, because I've been in touch with a few people, and they just got a lot on their hearts and minds, and things are just acting kind of crazy. So if we don't mind, we're gonna bow our heads and close our eyes and go to God together and say, Father, we thank you for this day. Everyone did not get a chance to enjoy this day that you made for us. Some people are lost and confused, and others are grieving. And so we thank you for this day. No matter what's going on in our minds, we know that you are in control. And for those of us that do not know you, I pray that there's something in this show today that introduces them to you. This is why we do this show, to illuminate your love and your majesty. And that is my prayer. If there's something in the music or the lyrics or one of our guests or a topic that we discuss, we pray that something introduces you to them. We ask that all technical difficulties be bound in the name of Jesus. And Lord, we thank you. We thank you again for this day. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Amen, amen, amen. Okay, Avalon, I want to introduce you to somebody really special. Her name is Patsy Robertson, and I learned about her from one of those press releases from blacknews.com. And so she's our first guest today, and I'm going to bring her in. Sister Patsy, welcome to Books and Besties, dear. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy to be here.
That's good, that's good. Thank you so much for responding to my email.
Hey, it was a pleasure to get it. I was really surprised.
Good.
And honored.
Oh, thank you, dear. Well, tell everybody where you're from and what you're most excited about today.
Oh, I am from the great state of North Carolina. Yeah, North Carolina, born and reared, been here for a good portion of my life. Rest of my life, I've lived all across the country. Today, I'm excited that we have wonderful weather. We have been inundated with snow, ice, sleet, rain, but today it's going to be in the 70s and the sun is shining.
That is so good. That is good because I got family in Michigan and they got snow today, so I understand. I understand.
Yes.
Avalon, what's your weather looking like today?
It's pretty good. The last couple of days has been in the 50s. So, and that's surprising. We haven't really had a heavy snow, maybe a frosting like, but we haven't really had a heavy snow yet.
Well, that's good.
And that's surprising.
That's good. That's good.
I think it's coming because it's warm. It's coming. I still think it's coming. We still got to get through March.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
Patsy, tell me about your book. What's the name of it? What's it about? And why did you write it?
Oh, the name of the book is A Concoction of Lies. It's a thriller full of suspense, mystery. It's fast-paced, but it's also multicultural. It's about first let me back up. My entire career for 50 years was spent in computer technology. So that's what I know. So of course, I figured anything I write is going to include some portion of computers and technology. So A Concoction of Lies has two protagonists. The male, Chance Moore, is a cybersecurity specialist who hacks the bank account and steals the money from a Guatemalan cartel leader.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, why do you want to do that?
Yes. So he's kidnapped and smuggled into Guatemala. He manages to escape and he's heading east to the Belize border. The second protagonist is Bonnie Hollister. She's a wealthy older woman, but she's suffering from chronic depression and she has addiction to prescription drugs and alcohol. Yes, that Bonnie's in Belize to sell her family's banana plantation. The two characters become intertwined when Chance is found close to death on Bonnie's plantation and is moved into her house to recover. So while Bonnie is struggling with her addictions and her other issues, Chance is anxious to get off the plantation before the cartel finds out where he is. But covert intelligence has led a squad of cartel soldiers to the plantation.
Oh, no.
I will leave it there because I don't want to give it away.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. But the book is multicultural. It transitions from the U.S. through Mexico, Guatemala, and Belize. Wow. So with the significant portions taking part in Guatemala and Belize. And that's where the multicultural characters and the environment, traditions, and things of that nature take place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Why a thriller? Why where did these characters come from? Why put them together?
Well, I've been an avid reader all of my life. And one of the things that I was having trouble with is that the lack of older, mature characters. Let's say, it seems as though the industry and a lot of the books that I was reading, the industry, anybody over the age of 50 becomes invisible in, the book realm, especially in fiction. And that was one of the things I really wanted. I really wanted older, mature characters, but I wanted to add that level of mystery and suspense with them. The youngest character in the book, I think, main character, is 40 years old. The oldest one is like 74. So these are not babies. These are older people who have had what I'll consider life-altering events. They're at a point in their lives when they should be considering retirement, but something happens and it sends them on a path through challenges that they never thought they would experience. Yeah, so I just wanted something exciting for the old people in the crowd.
I tell you, that is fascinating. I
know.
I mean, go ahead, Avalon. You had a question.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, are these the type of books you tend to read?
I don't have a genre. I take that back. The only thing I don't read is horror and probably a lot of the fantasy books. But anything else you put in front of me, if it holds my attention for 5 minutes, I'm going to read it. So I span mostly all genres.
Nice. That is fascinating. I'm just coming back from the 14th annual Fresh Book Festival that takes place every year in Daytona Beach, Florida. And I recommend you join us next year in February. The website is Fresh Book Festivals with an S on the end .net.
Okay.
And I know there's an audience for your genre at the Fresh Book Festival. If it be none other than several of the authors that are regulars that come every year. I've never heard it described that the way you did it, the way you described finding yourself in a book at a relatable age. You know, I just never even
we get left out. You know, it's really interesting. And after a while, I was like, but all of this is new to me. You're mentioning festivals. I wrote it down. I didn't realize there were so many book festivals around. Usually, book clubs, I'm very familiar with book clubs and things of that nature, but all of the book festivals, it seems as though Georgia and Florida tend to have a lot more than North Carolina does. Yeah.
We want you to come in the wintertime so you can warm up a little bit.
Well, Jacksonville wasn't warm.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we went to the Jacksonville Festival and we were like, what happened to the warm weather?
That is true. I'm in Jacksonville and I'm thinking I might need to go further south. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been fun. It's been fun. It's I retired during COVID, and just after my house was spotless, I was like, what else am I going to do with my life?
Wow.
And decided to take an online creative writing class. I fell in love, and the rest is history. I had no intention whatsoever of ever writing a book. But after about 4 classes, I figured, well, maybe this is something I can do. And it just rolled from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
A creative writing class, Avalon.
I hear it.
Yeah. And it was only like $35.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
I tell you, it amazes me how people fall in love with writing. A lot of folks I talked to, people kept telling them, you need to write a book about that. Avalon is an example of that. Somebody told her you need to write a book, and she did. Or somebody attended a writing workshop and wrote something. It always amazes me the span of diversity, the span of diverse reasons why people write. And so, I do recommend a good writing workshop. I'm actually going to a writing retreat in August. And even though I am an author, I'm looking forward to being swept up for 7 days
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
improve my writing.
It can become addictive. In business world, it was just writing emails and status reports and things like technical books and things of that nature, but never nothing that I would consider putting out in front of the public. But it's not easy, especially if you've never done it before. It wasn't easy for me. It was my imagination was running away with me, and just the learning aspect and being educated about the expectations of what it takes to put together a story.
Right.
The different models. I remember the first time I sat down with an agent, and she was asking, "What model did you use?" And I was like, "Model? What are you talking about?" And I didn't know there was any such thing. So afterwards, I came back and I was talking to one of the other authors, and I said, "She's asking me these technical questions, and I don't know the terminology that went along with, the writing aspect." And she gave me a couple of really good books, reference books, that I went back and I didn't, like I said, it's just so much to learn if you've never done it before. And it was a grind for a while, because I just felt as though I was on a trip that was never going to end. Yeah, it was like,
well, we're gonna take just a really quick break, and then Sister Joy has arrived, and so we're gonna bring her in so you can meet her, Sister Patsy, and we'll be back with more Books and Besties in just a minute, everybody.
Okay.
DJ Shaheem Care Mix Edits. Explore innovative fusion music of hip-hop, house, Afro beats, and gospel genres, all rolled into one perfect mix. Visit the world of a gospel praise experience as DJ Shaheem shares his new edit packs, filled with a remarkable experience. Enhance and elevate your worship experience through praise, as we embark on a new and unique purpose to glorify Jesus and what he has been able to do in our lives. If you are looking for a different vibe in your worship and praise experience, this will definitely keep you moving and inspire you throughout your day and week. These mix and edit packs are not only for DJs and radio stations, but are meant for gospel music lovers as well. Take time out and visit DJ Shaheem Care Mix Edits for your music source. Support the ministry as we reach others and draw them closer to Christ. Stay blessed, safe, and encouraged. DJ Shaheem Mix Edits. .sellfy.store. I want to welcome you back to Books and Besties. I am your host, the Queen Bee, Dr. Angie BEE, and we've got my very special co-host, author Avalon Brown. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Still hanging.
I know. We've already had the pleasure of meeting author Patsy, and we're going to bring her back in. So welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And then we're going to bring in Cherubim Joy in just a second. I've got one quick question for you, Patsy. Are you working with an agent? I know you talked about speaking with an agent, but are you working with one?
No, not at this point. I interviewed with lots of agents, and I just felt as though they were sucking my soul out of me with all of the rejections, and decided that I would take more of a hybrid approach versus the traditional approach. So I was approached really by a publisher, and we sat down and kind of hashed out a contract, and we just kind of moved from there. So it was a much more pleasurable experience, but I didn't have much success with agents. No.
Okay. Just wondering. All right, Sister Joy, we're going to bring you in, and welcome to Books and Besties, dear. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
Oh, we are just fine. I want to introduce
Can you
you.
guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you just fine. Can you hear us okay?
Okay. Okay.
Do
There's some static, so I don't know if it's on my ends or your ends. I may need to move to a different room.
do
Am I
okay.
freezing on your? Do you see me freezing?
Yes, you're freezing a little bit.
Okay, let me try to go to a different room. Just bear with me 1 second, okay?
Okay, no problem. We'll see you when you get back. Sister Patsy, that was my next question. If you self-published or if you're working with a publisher.
Yeah, I guess you consider me self-published. I had a publisher, but we kind of divided up a lot of the responsibilities, what I was really responsible for, what they would be responsible for, and worked out a contract for that. So yes, I did have a publisher, but it didn't go through an agent.
Got it. Gotcha. All right. So on Books and Besties, we also like to try to raise awareness. And I'm always my natural self because I'm raising alopecia awareness and acceptance. I know that there are hair pieces and hats and different things that I could use to make me appear to have hair. But since I don't, I just need people to accept the fact that I don't have hair.
I think
So
you're
Pat,
beautiful.
oh, thank you.
You're absolutely beautiful. I give you all the praise and honor. I mean, I think other women should follow in your path. It's just one of those things of accepting yourself. In spite of it all, this is you, and you're unafraid and proud. Go for it, girl.
Yes.
Just go on.
God is good. It was a process, but I'm so
Beauty
glad
for
you
face.
walked
You don't need.
I'm
You
so
make her
glad.
face up so nice. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, Avalon. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just give God all the praise for being with me while I
Yes.
decided to get to this point. But Sister Patsy, do you have something that you'd like to share with us to spread awareness or something that you're passionate about?
I think my primary passion, and it was something that came to light in the book, is the awareness about addiction in older adults. And it's something I became aware of probably 5 or 6 years ago that I didn't know existed.
Older adults?
Yes, I'm
You're
talking.
supposed to know better by now.
That's
No.
the issue right there. No. See, yeah. It is just as prevalent in people over 50, 60, 70 as it is in the younger generation. But a lot of it, no one talks about, no one, puts it aside, like I said, we're invisible. We become invisible after a certain age. And people just feel like, oh, that's just aunt. There's always the drunk uncle, the drunk aunt, the people that take over at the parties. But there's also the ones who are suffering from chronic depression, who are sitting home alone, that don't have anyone to, reach out to. And it's one of those hidden diseases. So with the book, I did a lot of research, and then it just really, really kind of rolled from there. So I just want to say, if you are suffering and you don't think there's anyone close that you can reach out to, there are all types of resources out there for you. But it's very prevalent.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. All right, we're going to bring Sister Joy back and see how she sounds now. Good morning, dear.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, much better.
Good now? Okay. Hey, Sister Avalon, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Long time no see.
Long time no see. It's great to see you. Thank you guys for inviting me. Hello, Sister Patsy. It's nice to
Hello,
meet you.
nice to meet you.
So, Sherabin, tell me, how do you know Avalon?
We actually have been connected through authorship for at least a decade or more. We both have presented our works at a local bookstore in New Jersey, Crossroads Books and Bibles, located in Hillside, New Jersey. That's been a staple in the community for like, I don't know how many years, Avalon, about 50 years or so. So we both are connected to the owner, Sister Minister Williams. So we were on the same piano several times, and that's how we met, and we've remained connected ever since.
That is wonderful. Wonderful.
Small
All
world.
right. That is great. So tell us about your book. What's the name of it? What's it about?
Well, I've authored several books. So I have two Christian novels. One is entitled After the Benediction. That was my very first Christian novel. That won a Christian Indie Book Award. So I'm very proud of that work. My follow-up book, second Christian fiction, was called Mima's Pretty Little Black Girls. And then I have several self-help Christian books. I have a book for single women, which was actually my first book I've ever written and published, called The Fight for Focus, of encouragement for Christian single women. When I was married, I wrote my second work, which was called Motherhood, Marriage, Ministry, and Money, A Heart of a Woman. And then I have my latest genre that I embarked on is children's books. So I have a children's book line called Manny and the Magic Keys. So two books have been published, and the third book will be introduced actually in the next several months.
Nice. 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 I tell you, I love to talk to people that have multiple books, almost multiple genres.
Yes.
Because it shows such diversity and creativity in that person. How did you go from a book for singles to a children's book?
It's an interesting journey. Well, it's funny because now that you said that, I never actually thought about it this way. Each one of those books represented the season of life I was in at the time. I didn't necessarily like attempt to write the book because of the season. It just happened to be at that time. And then I got the idea and decided to pursue it. So when I wrote my very first book, I was much younger then. So that book, I don't know, I think that was, I don't even remember. Like I'll be 50 this year. So I think I wrote that book when I was like in my late 20s and my early 30s. And I just was at a place as being a Christian single woman, I was frustrated. So I wrote that book as a means of being an encouragement to other Christian single women that, you felt like you were living your life for the Lord, and all of the stuff that we've heard preached about wasn't seemingly coming together in terms of our desire for a fulfilling relationship. So that's kind of what birthed that book. But it's a book of encouragement to single women to think differently. That God has you in this place for a reason, for a season. Let's tap into that instead of being depressed or focusing on why I'm not married. And then, years later, after getting married and I had my son, he was around the age of like 4 years old. He loved, and to this day, just loved my father. And whenever we would go to my dad's house, the moment he entered the house, Papa, where's your keys? So to the point that my father found a spare set of keys. So when my son would go to the house, he would let him play with them. And one day I was at home and I was just staring at my son, and literally the title popped in my head, Manny and the Magic Keys. So that book series really was birthed out of my son's relationship with his grandfather, and I just built on it.
I love that. I love that. We have gone from books that help to illuminate the invisible seniors to now books that are inspired by our children and the innocence of our children. That is incredible. That is incredible. Avalon, you got any questions?
Yes. So I read that you were able to get the books into the school system, Manny series. So what was your journey doing that? I mean, how was that made possible for you?
the favor and grace of God. But again, like I try to, I mean, Sister Avalon and those that publish, you write a great book, but trying to place the book and actually getting it into the hands of readers can be a challenge, especially when you're unknown. So you have to think outside of the box and tap into that inner creativity. And I just pray, like, Lord, give me something, And I just thought about it. I initiated a program called what was the name of that program? Gift the book, again, GAB, gift the book. And it just went off like wildfire. I just came up with the concept, because I know a lot of people that don't have children, but still, you don't have your physical children, but you know a child. You know what I mean? So let's gift the book. And I think that I initiated that maybe around the holiday season. I don't quite remember, but from that program, I know several educators. So they saw the program. It was like, send me the information. Let me see what I can do to get it into my school. So I can't say that I didn't develop the program with the mindset to necessarily target the schools. It just kind of worked out of that from the gifted program. So like I was able to connect. He's passed away now, unfortunately, but with a principal that went to my church, they bought about 50 books themselves. My jurisdictional bishop brought 50 books. The police spent a little books, give to the summer camps. So it's a great, it was just me being creative. And the second book, not the second book, the third book is coming out. I'm like, wow, I really need to kind of restart that. So, once I got it into the school system, I had approached another principal that I'm connected with, and he challenged me with the question, does it have a curriculum? I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. So I started working and developing a curriculum. I worked with a teacher. I worked with a New Jersey principal that kind of went through it to streamline it for me. So that's also available. I have not actually placed the curriculum in the school, but I do have one available.
My goodness. That is nice. A curriculum.
Yeah.
And it's great. And Avalon, I know that you have a tremendous children's book line. I would encourage you to do the same thing, because your stories, they're not only teaching the kids basic concepts, but if you really think about it, what it takes, the different, you can talk about sentence structure. You can have kids summarize. They're doing that in school anyway. Like when I look at my son's homework, they're literally reading somebody else's story. Then they have to go back and do a report on it. Why can't they do that for our books? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just like something to, Yeah, it's just something that you really think about. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I thought about that with the very first children book. Mommy, why do I have a cold? Because that's more like an educational book. And I was really trying to find out how to get that into the school. What's the process? Because, it's something to teach the children how to prevent colds, possibly prevent their colds. I went through all the hand washing, covering your mouth, being around other children, and I had pictures with the book. So, that was the book that I was trying to, find the process of how to get it in the schools. Someone said it's best to start with the daycare schools. Do you think so?
Yes. Absolutely, because most of them are privately owned. And you don't have to go through the whole channel and the whole process when it's a state-owned school. So it's a little bit easier. So even the principal, it was a private high school. It was in Patterson, but it wasn't Patterson Public High School. It was a private high school. So he had more control over what he could accept and bring in and allow. So I went through him. So that is an avenue that would probably be easier. Even I got some of my books in the preschool because, again, it was a private preschool. The head teacher bought like 20 for her students. She got approval now. She got approval to use their discretionary funds to purchase our books. So I would encourage you to look at that as a door that you could walk through.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That is a wonderful idea. I'm going to try that. Because during the pandemic, I worked with 5-year-olds out of a school in Michigan. We met virtually, and I asked them to write their COVID stories.
Mhm.
That is now a published book. And because they are 5-year-olds, I think that would be appropriate for preschool as well. That is wonderful information. Thank you. Got my wheels turning.
Yeah, the private sector is probably an easier way to, and as I'm speaking, I actually work with 2 principals, so I was able to get my books into 2 high schools. But again, it were high schools, but it was not high schools, but it was privately owned. Not high school, middle school, elementary school, but they were privately owned. So the principals, they have a discretionary fund.
My goodness. My goodness.
Yeah, I have the book in I have the book in 2 library. I've written, I've sat and read, with children in the library, like groups of children. I've read to the school like virtually, but I would love to get the books in the school.
Oh, absolutely. Yep, I would say just kind of make connections with the principals, any of the head teachers. Definitely, continue, and I have to do it myself too. I kind of slacked off a little bit. Like I've done the Read for America with the Little Falls school system. It was awesome. And I kind of used that Read for America as my launch to reach out to the police department. Like, oh yeah, I read it for the Read for America for all of the schools, all 3 of the Little Falls. There's 3 schools, so it's like 250 students. I did virtually, so I had already laid the groundwork. So I went to the police department. I made friends with one of the police officers. He went to his boss, and I believe they ordered about 25 books. So during the summertime, my town has a summer camp. We distributed them at the summer camp.
Nice.
It's all about creativity. Like, we'll get discouraged trying to go through the mainstream sometime because it just seems like we can't knock down those doors. But there's definitely connections that we can make on the private end. Especially like among Black-owned businesses, just kind of connect. You're presenting, your end goal, like what you're trying to accomplish. It helps both of you, so it's something to explore.
That is wonderful. That makes such a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Congratulations.
that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you say you've written 7 books?
Yeah, so 2 Christian novels. I think it's 2 or 3 Christian self-help books, and then I've also contributed my children's book line, and then I've also contributed to several anthologies, and I'm working on my 3rd Christian novel that I am just believing God that I'm going to complete by the end of this year. It will be the second. It will be after the benediction too, so it will pick up from the first book, but it's also going to incorporate some characters from my 2nd Christian novel. I would say that I'm a good 95% done. I just need to finish writing it, kind of get it edited, but that is my end goal for this year. I'm believing God I'm going to get it done.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, we had a couple questions that have come in. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to, Sister Patsy, we're going to start off asking you these questions. So we'll be right back with more Books and Besties, everybody.
Step into a world of resilience and self-discovery with this captivating memoir. Through heartfelt anecdotes and profound reflections, the author takes readers on a transformative journey, navigating family dynamics and finding solace in faith. With raw honesty, they confront domestic violence and the challenges of the pandemic, showcasing the strength of the human spirit. This memoir inspires hope, resilience, and the power of never giving up, even in life's darkest moments. Discover the courage to rise above adversity today. Available now on all major platforms. Unbroken Spirit, A Journey to Redemption by Avalon S. Brown.
The Me Project, a woman's guide to thriving in singlehood by visionary author Alexandria Evelyn Johnson and courageous women. around the world, featuring a new personal testimony from me, Evangelist Angie BEE. It's time to order your copy by email to evangelistangb@gmail.com. A woman's guide to thriving in singlehood. The Me Project.
DFCmarket.com.
If you or someone you know needs help coping with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, overcoming low self-esteem, or managing major life transitions, we invite you to schedule a free consultation call for telehealth clients. Shekinah Downs, licensed clinical social worker, is now accepting new telehealth clients. In the office, too. Schedule a free consultation by calling 386-385-4483. That's 386-385-4483. In the brand new Daytona Beach office as well. 50 to 60 minute individual therapy sessions and a variety of insurance plans are accepted. Couples therapy and coaching is coming soon. We invite you to log on to cjaqis.com. Schedule a free consultation by calling 386-385-4483. That's 386-385-4483. I am in my happy. Hey everybody, welcome back to Books and Besties. I am one half of your host team. I am the Queen Bee, Dr. Angie BEE, and the other half of your host is Sister Avalon. She's coming in right now. Hey girl, hey girl. And we do have Sister Portia that is preparing to join us in just a few minutes, but we got to bring Sister Patsy and Sister Joy back in here because we had a question. Sister Joy did a wonderful job telling us how she's getting her books out and introducing them. But Sister Patsy, can you give us some ideas as to how you're promoting your book?
Well, one of the first things I did whenever I realized that, I was really going to go forward with this is that I put together a team. I have a great little team. I have a publicist who is in Atlanta. I have a social media and marketing young lady who is in New York. And both of these ladies are currently work with major publishing, Penguin, Random House, but they have what they call now a gig economy, whereas they have their own little businesses on the side, so I loop them in. And then there is another young lady who handles my website. The publisher originally created my website, but it was very kind of plain and basic. And coming from IT, I wanted more. Of course, I want more. So I found a young lady who has all of the skills in the world, and she has her own business. So 3 women, small businesses, and they are my team. And they have just hit the ground running. They know what to do. And like I said, I retired. So a lot of the social media, the Instagram, all of these things, I was not familiar with. I had not been on Facebook in 100 years, simply because I work in IT and we know the dangers. So there was no Facebook for me. But the publisher kind of came forward and said, you need at least 2 social media outlets. So Facebook and Instagram are connected, so that's where I went. But I have kind of left it up to them to tell me what to do. And they have done an excellent job. I have right now approximately like 8 festivals up through, I think, October or November. The podcast, you were the first person to reach out to me who hadn't come through like my publicist. So I've done up to this point, I think you are my fourth podcast. And then magazine articles. Through them, I've been asked to do 3 magazine articles. Also, my social media person, she had a list of approximately like 50, what she called influencers that she could connect with. So all of the money, any money I make from the book, I have to pay people. So I'm not really making any money off the book. I'm just, giving it back to other people. But it's working. It's working for me. And I'm having fun because there's no way I can do all of this in the background by myself.
Right.
All of this, the running of the business end of having a book out there, it's extremely time consuming. And I didn't retire just to get another job. But that was the way that was the way it was beginning to look. So yeah, there are a lot of young people out there who have these little gig, their little gig jobs that they do, and they know what to do. So I just let them do it and tell me what they need.
Good for you. We've got a viewer that we need to give a shout out to, Tracy Small. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. And Tracy says, not only did she say hello, but she says she's inspired. And so I'm glad about that. That's part of the reason why we do this show. We want you to be encouraged and inspired. So that works out well. Avalon, tell us how you're promoting your books, because you sound like you've been a busy little bee.
Well, I try to go to the book festivals here in New Jersey and social media. Whenever I can get in magazines, I'm in a few magazines. I promote my books in the magazines, and I'm in about 9 anthologies. And pretty much I'm doing, like she's, I'm doing most of the stuff myself because of the fact that, like she said, you be ended up paying this, that, and the other. But I'm learning a lot of stuff from different webinars. So what type of things I can do to help me promote. So this is the route that I'm going get now. And then I just got this advice from Sister Joy, how to get the children books out. So this is the way I'm promoting mine. Wherever I can put, my book out there in somebody's magazine or a media, that's what I'm doing. So, my name is out there. Like she said, you don't make a lot of money doing it, but my name, I see that my name is getting out there on the internet. The books are getting out there. So it's being promoted that way.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, so Sister Joy, we have a question for you. It came through text. How difficult is it to find an illustrator for your children's book?
For not difficult because I do use T-Publish, so they actually have taken care of that for me. So I believe I'm using the same for books, so I do not have to concern myself with that. How I also know that I'm very particular about certain. So, for example, for my cover for my fiction books, I get my own design, and I'm 98.8% sure the illustrator that has done my children's book, I did not with them directly, was hired. Just a matter of courage, any use that, either find a looking for an editor, you're looking for a cover, always have to pay attention to the reviews, looking at how long that individual has been a part of the Fiverr community, and that will help you be able to narrow down who your final choice will be. So I personally, when I've had to reach out to people, have had a lot of success with Fiverr. I actually forgot to mention, I actually created an animated series for the first book for Manny and the Magic Keys. It's on YouTube. I just had a lot going on last year, so I really haven't had the opportunity to promote it. But the animator, they literally put it in animation. It was my lab at it, but I found that individual through Fiverr, and they give you a reasonable price. Again, you just have to communicate, make sure do extensively that you're feel comfortable with the review, and then time as part of the community.
Mm-hmm. Avalon, you've had some success with Fiverr as well, right?
Yes, they've done all the illustrations in my children's book because, like you said, you have so many to choose from, and they will give you a sample of their work. And I haven't had any problems because I usually describe exactly what I want. They'll send me a sample of how that look is this, or do you need me to change it? And I mean, they've given me exactly what I described. So I love using Fiverr for my illustrations because I know I don't know how to draw. But like she said, the prices are reasonable depending on what you want, depending on how many illustrations you need. But so far, I haven't had any issues with them.
Okay. Listen, Sister Tracy Small has a question. She said, I wrote a 200-page book, but I'm stuck. I'm having a hard time organizing the sections and getting the repetitiveness out. Will an editor help me do this, or is there a software I can use to make it easier? Well, I'm going to let everybody comment on your question, Tracy, but I would like to encourage you to work with me and Avalon. Together, we're helping people publish their books. We're helping with the editing process. We send it through Grammarly, which is a software that can be used. We're formatting, we're designing book covers, and we're getting books published through Amazon. But the first thing I'd like to say is if you have a 200-page book, it sounds like you may have multiple books within those 200 pages. And maybe that's why some of the repetitiveness is in there. If we could help you break that book down into maybe, 2 different books, 100 pages each, that may be helpful to you. That may really be helpful. What do you think, Joy?
Well, my first question would be is what genre is the book? So if it's a novel, then 200 pages isn't a lot. That's kind of on the minimal side. And I learned that after I did my first 2 books. Writing it seems like you're producing a lot of paperwork, but you really compare it to other novels. 200 pages isn't quite that much. So I would first ask that. But so if it's really a novel, then yes, definitely what I would say is work with an editor, but don't be afraid to have beta readers that you can trust to give you truthful feedback to say, I was lost when I read this book, because it will help you to be able to go back in and reorganize your layout. So for example, with my book, this is what I say to anybody, whether I'm preaching, whether I'm teaching, whether I'm ministering, whether I'm writing. If I confuse myself, I already know in readers confused. So I'm back as I'm wow, not lower. Like I totally lost my from this chapter. Just get rid of the chapter. It means I have the place. So I'll make sure it makes sense to you. And then if I'm struggling, like chapter needs to be, and I'll reach out to I have somebody read it. Maybe even if my beta read it, it's just my sister very, so they don't tell me the truth. So even if you don't hire someone, someone that can give you positive and honest feedback. But I do agree with Dr. Angie B. Like, if they have the service that can help you work on that flow, you do need someone to come alongside you and kind of help you lay that out. But the genre that you're writing, that does make a big difference as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
sounds
I agree.
good.
I agree.
What do you think, Sister Patsy?
The fact I had 6 beta readers. I had 6, and they get it. Well, I didn't give it to them until after I felt as though I had taken the manuscript as far as I could take it. Initially, I used a developmental editor who had the bird's eye view of the book that could actually look at it, not a copy editor, but a developmental editor to help me, who went in and said, "Oh, this section is too long. This is too many words. You need to cut this back, or you need to expand on this chapter, or maybe you should move this in front of that." Things of that nature, which sounds like what you and Avalon would do. So that was my first round. But at the end, I actually handed over the manuscript to like 6 beta readers. And then I did a questionnaire for them. And these were people that I did not know. I did not give it to any family members or best friends or anybody like that. I wanted clean, objective feedback. And they completed the questionnaire. And a couple of them, we actually had discussions on the phone so that I could really understand what it is they were trying to tell me. Now, all of this feedback, you can take it or you can leave it. It's your book, it's your baby. So you make the final decisions on everything. But I think the beta readers were invaluable.
She says, yes, that's what I need, developmental. And she does have beta readers on tap. That's good. And I think she was answering your question earlier. Her books are Christian motivational and tools for coaching and small groups. So yes, I think all of them this is going to be helpful to you, Sister Tracy. You have the beta readers on tap. Yeah, that's good. What do you think, Avalon?
Well, pretty much what they're saying, because she says she has 200 pages, but it may not even be 200 because she mentioned she has a lot of repetitiveness. And that's, sometimes I read over my own stuff 2 or 3 times, and then I see things that I need to change or put in there. Especially, it sounds like the nursing books that I'm doing guidebooks for nurses, for other nurses and younger nurses based on my experience. So I have to read through it to make sure that I'm not repeating the different tools that I'm giving them, or the different chapters that I'm giving them, that it's not the same thing over and over. So she may have to read this herself, and then she can pick up a lot of the repetitiveness her own self.
And keep in mind, Tracy, yes, an editor will help you to do this. And I believe we collectively suggest that you have a couple of editors. You're always going to read over your own book, but you know what you're trying to say, which means you can overlook things. I remember there was a project that we worked on where the authors, the title of the author's chapter was, let's say the two become one. Okay, the two become one, but the word one was spelled O-N. So because they knew what they were trying to say, they overlooked that. So you always look over your work, but you cannot be the final editor for your projects. You always need another editor. And that doesn't necessarily mean someone that's got a PhD. It means somebody who can look at your work and, just like Avalon said, determine what needs to be moved, what needs to be removed. and what needs to be added. Like Sister Robertson said, you know, we really have to have someone else that's looking at it like a reader would look at it versus we as writers versus how we would look at it. So the next question is, how do I find beta readers? Somebody just sent in that text. How do they find beta readers? Sister Joy?
I mean, I think that you can absolutely utilize beta readers using your social media account. So hopefully you do have followers, and you can advertise them. I mean, I've seen them myself. My publisher is doing a whole news for her own personal work. She actually posted in her on her social media accounts that she was looking for beta readers for her new series that she's publishing. If you already have an established author page, I don't know if you have that or not. I don't know where you are in your authorship journey. You could also reach out to those that have already read your other works to also become a part of your beta reader team.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah, I solicited book clubs. We have a plethora of book clubs in the area, and I kind of reached out to them because I wanted people who didn't necessarily read in my genre. I wanted a variety. I didn't want, I guess I just didn't want to pigeonhole it because I never knew who the customer would be. But I reached out to book clubs.
Okay, that's good. That's something I really need to look into. Okay, it is the top of the first hour here on Books and Besties. We are showcasing two fabulous authors today, along with my spectacular co-host, Avalon. We know that there are a couple more questions out there that we need to address, but first we need to get some good news and information, and then we'll be back with Sister Portia in just a few minutes. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone it is for you. My name is Terrell Duckworth. I'm an independent associate with Legal Shield. I retired from the military after 23 years of serving in the United States Air Force. And I started working with a company called Legal Shield. And the reason why I'm here today is I just wanted to let you know what we offer. A lot of people know the name, but they haven't seen the information. So one of the first things I always share with people is it gives you the ability to talk to an attorney without worrying about that high hourly cost. And it's affordable, not just to people individually, but to even small business owners. So what we like to do is share and educate you on why so many people are taking advantage of our services, from getting contracts reviewed, to getting your last will and testament done, your will, your living will, your healthcare power of attorney, and those things. We also help if you are that person that has a heavy foot. And then the last thing I like to share with people on our legal plan is we have a 24/7 coverage, because we know that people get in situations where they wish they wouldn't be and engaging with law enforcement, and you can pick the phone and enforce your rights right on the spot. Now, for you small business owners, we love to help you out. Look, we're not trying to get rid of the legal services that you already have, but we want to show you a more affordable way to deal with debt collection, contract review, maybe you got employee situations you need help with. But the bottom line is we have a lot of services we can offer you at an affordable rate. If you get a hold of me, my information is below, duckworth29@gmail.com, or my website's below. It's too long the name, so please look at below. Or you can contact me on my cell phone, 757-344-5496. And I would like to say this, we are looking for more people to help us out and spread the word, meaning you can do what I do, make a living while making a difference. My name's Terrell Duckworth. Thank you so much for listening to my information. And I turn it back over to you, my good friend, Miss Angie BEE.
Thank you, Mr. Duckworth. And we're going to bring Sister Joy right back in for some final thoughts. I know you have to leave us soon. can you share with us how people can contact you and get copies of your books? And
Sure. All of my books are available on Amazon. You can just put in my name, probably will be the easiest, Sharabim Joy, as you see on the screen. My website is currently under construction. However, if you would like a signed copy of any of my books, you can inbox me on Facebook, or you can reach out to me at my personal email address, which is soar, like soar and an eagle, SOAR, with WITH, Sherry, SHERI, all one word, at gmail.com.
okay, Soar with Sherry at gmail.com. That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna let Avalon come in so she can give her she can tell you bye-bye as well.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. We enjoyed you on the show today.
Thank
See you
for
soon.
inviting me. What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
I said I'll see you soon at
Oh,
Crossroads.
absolutely. Thank you so much for always
Hope
remembering.
to see you soon at Crossroads.
I know, yeah. But thank you, Dr. Angie, for having me as well. I appreciate the invitation.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day and come back and give us updates as your books, as you write more. Come back and give us updates.
Will do. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed weekend.
You too. Bye-bye. Well, it's just about time to bring in Sister Portia. But before we do that, Sister Patsy, I'm sorry, Sister Patsy, love to have you come back. We get all wrapped up in talking with people. So if you have to pop out, if you have to leave, we completely understand. But we would love to have you stick around just a little bit longer if you can.
Sure. I'm having fun.
Good. All right, Sister Portia, it's time for us to bring you in so we can learn all about you and what you do. It says Portia is an author and CEO of Bright Books, LLC. Welcome to the show, Portia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited about being here, of course. My husband is at work this morning at the hospital, so my little ones can't find anything else in the house to play with except for me. So please excuse me.
No, that's wonderful.
But thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor. Ms. Avalon, I've known her for some years now. We're social media friends. We've met up in person when I come to New Jersey, of course. And so thank you so much, Dr. Angie BEE, for having me on today. Ms. Patsy, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I was actually backstage just hearing the jewels you guys were dropping. And so that's very inspiring for sure.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So happy to hear from you. So tell us about your book or your books.
Well, I actually have about, I have my book here, There Ought to Be a Law, A Bright Day at the State Capitol, which is being taught in schools as a curriculum in Aurora, Illinois, but they're teaching it in Spanish. I actually have it translated in Spanish. So this was actually my first book, honestly, just stepping out on faith. I published in 2020. Didn't know the pandemic was coming. So it was definitely a year working on it between editing, doing my animations and my illustrations, and then going back and making sure that it was the perfect book to put out there on the market. And it has been doing amazing. I actually won National Book of the Year last year by Planning People, Growing Justice. I'm super excited about that. But growing up in school, honestly, my teachers always said, Portia, you're a great writer, but I never actually really thought anything of it. It's just me trying to get through school and do my work and keep on pushing. So I actually went to the North Carolina General Assembly in 2016 and began working for lawmakers in both the Senate and House of Representatives. So that kind of changed the perspective of writing, because you're required to write to constituents or write letters for lawmakers or write proclamations to give to folks who are, doing great work in the state. And so I began writing a lot more. I also got to start pulling me out of my shell. I began talking to a lot more students about, the work that I was doing and the work that lawmakers were doing in the legislature. So God was really pushing me towards a different direction out of my comfort zone, because honestly, no one in my family was an elected official. I didn't have anyone around me that was kind of like in that sphere of doing things, of lawmaking and all that kind of stuff. It is so funny as I think about how far I've come in life. As a little girl, I wanted to be a lawyer growing up. And that's the crazy thing. I think about that often, but I didn't quite go into that path directly. I actually went into medical assisting and substance abuse counseling. So I didn't go there, but God still was kind of pushing me towards the lawmaking thing. And maybe one day I will go to law school. I'm not counting it out because you're never too old to learn for sure. So I'm always in a space of being willing to grow and step outside of my comfort zone. So my good friend, Dr. Calvin Mercer, he is actually the co-author on this book. He's a professor at East Carolina University, but we were great friends. The funny thing is he and I met, I actually needed a job. I was in a horrible place in my life and I didn't have a job. I had an eviction notice on my door. And I was like, my girlfriends who were into academics, they worked for law firms. They had all these great things going for them. So they were like, Portia, I think there's this professor who's running for city council, which he was the mayor pro tem at the time, of course. So he had a big job and all this kind of stuff. And they were like, he needs a campaign manager. And we told him that you would be the perfect person. Oh my God, why did you guys do that? My stomach automatically started hurting. I had never actually managed a campaign, but clearly they saw something in me. And so it worked out for the best. I ended up winning that campaign. And that kind of started my career in politics. And so he had been writing books all the while. So I asked him to edit my book, of course. And here we are, almost 5 years later. And we've been doing some really great things. I've been on a host of shows. I actually have my own radio show that airs every Friday at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I actually am going to be on PBS Kids this month for Women's History Month. So that's going to be a big thing because I've been wanting to get into that space for some while now. So it's been a lot of things. God has been unfolding all the while. And so I just been, consistent with, what he's doing in my life and making sure that I'm giving back to, other people as well. I do donate books to schools and any other organizations, as I have the resources to do so. I'm not like super rich or anything, but God has been blessing me. So I try to put those blessings back into the community. I do go to schools and speak to kids, and I do go to colleges and speak at the college level as well. And so it's just been an amazing opportunity that I'm just thankful for. And he keeps blowing my mind. So I can't stop for sure.
That
is wonderful.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Portia, you're in North Carolina?
I am. I'm in North Carolina.
Raleigh?
No. I'm actually from Greenville, North Carolina.
I live in Angier. I live in Johnson County. Yeah.
I actually wanted to get married in Angier. It's actually a castle out there that I wanted to get married in. It's so funny. I love that. Wow, such a small world.
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. The PBS special sounds fascinating. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, actually, last year I was actually on PBS TV for talking about my book, but also talking about what I do in the legislature. And I also have a nonprofit where I'm helping people who are transitioning out of incarceration. And so, they wanted to talk to me about, the work that I have been doing in the community, as well as, writing books and so forth. And so that kind of transitioned into something else because they were like, hey, we have a lot of these opportunities coming up and we think you would be a perfect fit for it, which was really exciting for me because I'm like, my kids watch PBS TV all the time. And I have actually been, wanting to get into a network where, it's a platform of kids, And so that actually transitioned into me recording with PBS Kids. They actually came to my job at the legislature because they wanted to, capture what I do and how I contribute to, North Carolina, being in a better space. And so that's actually it was actually a whole couple hours worth of recording, but they're going to break it up and use part of it for a Roodle special. then they're also going to use more of the content throughout the year. And actually, America is turning 250 years old next year, so they're going to be using a lot of that content geared towards that as well. So it actually just came up by happenstance, honestly, just blowing some minds. Once they gave me one opportunity, it kind of went from there.
That is wonderful.
Yes.
Man, I tell you, you become an author and all different things start happening to you.
Kind of like a go-getter, Dr. Angie BEE. Like, I've been in a space in my life, I went through domestic violence, and that kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of different things. I grew up in church all my life, ushering. Honestly, I wanted to be in the choir, but they made me usher, and that was okay with me because I was still serving either way. And I kind of like had to fall back on my faith to really get me through in life. And honestly, for me, once I got back up from that mistake, there was nothing I felt like was going to stop me from being able to show my parents that, everything that they invested into me, it wasn't in vain. I never wanted my family to be embarrassed or whatever the case may be. So I got back up and I just went for the gusto. And it's kind of like been like that ever since. The desire to win, the desire to not be a failure, pretty much I think has been pushing me, along with my faith, of course, because there are a lot of things that I've done in life and nobody in my family has ever, reached that pinnacle or, achieved some of the great things that I've done. So I think me showing them that the teachings that they gave me as I was growing up kind of like has inspired them to do different things as well, to reach outside their comfort zones. And so I think it's just me wanting to do better and to show people that, you can fail in life, but, it's all in how you deal with that failure and get back up and keep pushing forward. So that's what I honestly been doing. And it's just been trial and error. God knows it has, because I'm like, I know I can do this. So I might try, then somebody else might see, and then it just works out. That's all I know. Faith in it till it works.
I tell you, that is some encouraging word. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
We got a couple of shout outs we need to do for some people that are watching. Again, thank you, Sister Tracy Hall, for your comments and your questions. And In His Heart Book Ministries is watching and gave us a heart. So
awesome.
In His Heart Book Ministries, thank you so much for joining us today. I certainly do appreciate it. I do. And Portia, we're going to ask you about Bright Books LLC in just a minute. Renee Smith is logged on and she is just about ready to join us. So we'll be bringing her in just a minute. But Avalon, did you have any questions? I didn't want to step on any toes here.
No, I was getting ready to ask her about the same thing before, the Bright Books. Before you said we're going to commercial.
Yep.
I wanted to know about that. Is that how?
Okay, well, we'll be back in just a minute. We want to hear all about Bright Books. But first of all, Avalon and I have a couple of things that we want you to know about. And this first one is the Winds of Change. So we'll be right back.
On April 1st, 2023, our Father woke me up to begin this writing. As my computer awoke from sleep mode, a Facebook memory popped up. At first, I didn't want to read it and fall down that rabbit hole of clicking and reading and clicking and scrolling. I had spent March 31st in the ebbs and flows of life, receiving great news and experiencing greater stress. During my waking hours, I longed for a peaceful night of rest, and last night did not disappoint. Now I see how God has allowed me to begin my healing from the grief. A marriage separation is a precarious place to be. On one hand, you miss the good times you shared with another. On the other hand, You find yourself traveling the cycles of grief, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, as defined by a psychiatrist in 1969. This next part of my story made me smile, laugh, and rejoice over the memory. It made me see just how far I have come with my healing towards acceptance. The Winds of Change by evangelist Angie BEE.
So I am officially looking for co-authors for that topic. If you think your life was going one way and something turned it a different way, that was the Winds of Change. And we'd love for you to share your story in that anthology. The second anthology that Avalon and I are recruiting writers to become co-authors in the book for is the book My Job Story, based upon the book of Job. If you feel at one time that you were bombarded with things like Job was, we would love to hear about how you persevered through all of that. So we've got the Winds of Change, which can tell a story about how your life made a detour. And then we've got My Job Experience, about how you persevered through a series of life's challenges. So bringing my co-host back in, Sister Avalon, come on back in here and tell us briefly what projects you're working on now.
I'm actually working on two or three at the same time. One book I'm doing is about my parents, how they met when they were 2 years old, up to the time that they moved to the north, and my father became a bishop. So they were married for 57 years before he passed. So I'm doing that story, and also working on a book, another nursing guide book. This is a guide for nurses to deal with patient loss. So I'm working on that, based on my experience and different things to help nurses cope. In the book, I'm giving them little guides, because each nurse handles death in a different way. So I'm putting out a guide, because when I'm out doing my books and people find out I'm also a nurse, they always ask me how do nurses deal with death? So it gave me the idea to write a guide about that. So I'm working on that, and I think another children's book. So I'm doing three at one time.
All right. Well, we're going to bring Sister Patsy back in. Thanks for sticking around with us. We appreciate it.
You did a lot, Avalon. Good grief.
I'm just listening to her. Yep.
My mind be just going. My mind be going.
I understand.
And then it's time to bring Sister Portia back in. Sister Portia, thanks for sticking around. Before we get to that question for you, we want to say hi to Sister Renee Smith, because she's waiting patiently. Hey, Sister Renee, how you doing, dear?
Hi, good. I'm checking the time. It's good afternoon, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I love that painting behind you.
Thank you.
Absolutely perfect. So, Sister Portia, tell us about Bright Books LLC.
Well, actually, when I started in 2020, in my head, I had, like, oh my God, this big publishing house is going to come pick me up. Like, they're going to publish my books and all this kind of stuff. When you hear things from other people or you read things, your expectations are like, maybe that'll happen for me too. Long story short, it actually didn't. So I actually had to create my own company in order to self-publish my books. And so that's where Bright Books actually was birthed. My name was Portia Bright prior to me getting married. So I felt like that was a good name to actually go with in terms of publishing and all that kind of stuff. I knew I'd have books, and it just made sense. I mean, because when you're encouraging kids to read, you're hoping you'll tap into them becoming brighter and their bright side, discovering things about themselves. And so a lot of times that happens when you're in bright spaces. So that's why I created Bright Books, so that way I'd be able to self-publish more books. Of course, I haven't tapped into publishing other people's books. I've had folks ask me about it, but I wanted to learn more about the business first. I just didn't want to jump in and not know everything myself, and lead people down the wrong path. And so that's why I created Bright Books. I knew I'd also get into, like cartoons and all that kind of stuff. So I needed an umbrella to actually put all that stuff in. I knew I'd, bid on contracts for, the state or county or whatever the case may be too. So I needed an umbrella to actually put that in. And so Bright Books was actually birthed by, my own vision, honestly. And so that's where we've been going with that. And it's actually, worked really well because, when I got the schools who decided to reach out to me to tell me that they use my book as a curriculum now to teach kids about how laws are made, that was one of the things that, was a requirement. So it was kind of like I was already ahead of the curve with that. So I didn't have to go start anything or anything like that. And also too, I've always had an entrepreneur spirit. When I didn't have a lot going on and I was in a space of being in eviction and so many other things in my younger years, I found ways to try to make money by starting my own company. And so that kind of like helped get me out of that space by starting my own business. So I've always dreamed of owning my own business. Of course, I'm hoping to transition that into an actual brick and mortar ice cream and bookstore at some point or another. That will be Bright Books and coffee beans or ice cream, one of the two, something like that. My husband and I are still working on the specifics behind all that, but that's my dream one day to have that space that youth can come in, and hopefully we won't lose them to the streets, and they'll have a safe space to come and hang out and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm very optimistic about just having the vision and making it plain, quite honestly.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Sister Smith, tell us about your book or your organization. What are you most excited about today? Tell us something good.
Okay, well, thank you, ladies, for having me. I'm so grateful to be here. And I guess I'll start with my books. So I have 10 published books. I write in two spaces. I'm a foodie, so I actually started out writing cookbooks. I'm from Jamaica, so my first cookbook was Jamaica's Forgotten Treats. And then I moved on to Member When, which is an international award-winning cookbook. And then I moved into the children's space. So I started writing children's books. And I'm a mother of, I have 3 boys. So the series that I created was a Freddie series, and it's focused on a 9-year-old boy. And the goal was to encourage young boys to read. So the book really talks about different themes. So the first book is The Great Compost Heap, and it teaches composting or recycling using kitchen and garden waste. And then the second book is Freddie's First Race, and he talks about perseverance, work hard, stay focused, and never give up, and you can achieve your dreams. The third book in the series is Freddie's Good Deeds, and it talks about doing good things for others, not because you expect anything in return, but because it's the right thing to do. Then the fourth book in the series is Freddie Goes to the Beach. And that one talks about family. Family's everything. And the fifth book in the series, Freddie Learns the Value of Money. And I have a financial background, so I wanted to talk to children about financial literacy, how money works. What is money? We expect children, I have 20-year-olds, they're working now, passed through high school, and they go to college, and instantly they're supposed to know how money works. You're supposed to save, so in this book it teaches them you have to work You have to earn and save before you spend. You can't start at the spending point before you even have the money. And I think one of the things that children get confused because they see us using it is the plastic. I remember my son when he was little and we went to the store and I said, he's like, Mom, can you buy it? And I'm like, no. He's like, Mom, use the plastic in your bag. You can use it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They don't understand how money works. So really, it is, showing them and explaining to them, you have to earn money before you can actually spend the money. And that little plastic that you get, it can get you into trouble. So if you don't know how to use it, it can really send you down a path that you really don't want to go to. So those are the 5 books in the series. And then I have 2 other books that I have. Who Turned the Lights Out? And that book, I work with the homeless. So it's a non threatening way to talk to children about homelessness. What is homelessness? Who is homeless? And what can you do even at a young age to help others? And the other book that's outside of the series, the Dorian, that's I'm actually calling it the Dorian series. That's a book that I wrote with my mom. My mom is a teacher. She is teaching over 50 plus years now, and she wanted to. She've always had a desire to write and publish a book. She's written plays and stories and all this thing, but nothing published. So after I've been publishing for a while, I said, Mom, she wrote the story. I said, we'll publish it. She's like, what? That'll be amazing. So went ahead and published a book. So it's called Dorian the Baker. And it's about being a young entrepreneur and that your gift will make room for you. So no matter what it is, your gift makes room for you. And you just have to have a love and a passion to do the work. So those are the books that I've had. Those are my children's books. And then I told you about my cookbooks. And then the last one is a inspirational calendar. So when my first son was going off to college, I had the idea to um, something to inspire him. So it's a 30-day, 31-day calendar, 31 days of encouragement. That's what it's called. And in it, there are some of my favorite scriptures. And then they're just images of places that we've been as a family. So you'll see just different places. In one, you'll see his hand when he was a child trying to catch a fruit or pick a fruit, and just different places that we've been that he can connect with when he was away at college. So those are my 10 published books.
That is wonderful,
Mhm.
wonderful, wonderful. And here on Books and Besties, we always try to spread some awareness as well. And Patsy has shared a little bit, and Portia has. Can you tell us a little bit about the emphasis that you have and the desire that you have about homelessness, spreading that information? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So again, I'm going to repeat this, and I'll probably say this another couple times. I'm a Jamaican, so we have like 10 million jobs. So one of in my day job, so I'm the director of the development at a nonprofit organization in Elizabeth, and we serve the homeless in Union County. And this is very near and dear to me because homelessness is something that is at the forefront. So many people are losing their houses. So the homeless population is increasing literally daily. And you have individuals who, no fault of their own, the rate of increase of your rent is not the same rate as your paycheck. And rent is going up, food is going up, everything that you can think of is going up except your paycheck. So you're finding families are struggling to meet their needs, and they're not able to even cover their housing. They live in even in a two family household. Your people are still struggling to meet the needs of their families. So, my organization, what we do is we provide rental assistance. We help them with back rent. We're able to help them with uh, affordable housing. That's actually one of our initiatives is to build affordable housing for families. So, it was important for me to share that story with children because one of the things that we find or that children come to school, they may look a little disheveled, the clothes is not pressed, they're not eating, they don't have their needs, and another child may laugh at them or start to make fun of them because they don't understand and they don't know. But if you have a book that's saying to them, hey, be mindful, that you don't know the situation, be kind to someone else, that may make that child's situation a little bit easier and their day to day, because you're opening up a child's mind to what life really is. And unfortunate, we have to do that, because even at a young age, they still need to understand that they need to be kind to each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's awesome. It's
Thank
really
you.
awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for sharing that. Even the description that you had of the children coming to school just barely hanging on. I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
All right, Portia, we had a question that came through before you came on the show. It came from Tracy Small. And she said she wrote a 200-page book, but now she's stuck. She's having a hard time organizing the sections and getting the repetitiveness out. Will an editor help me do this? Or is there a software I can use to make it easier? So, do you have any feedback or any suggestions that you have for Tracy?
Yeah, quite honestly, I think Tracy, she has done the grunt hole, like literally most of the work. I think that she should totally turn that over to an editor, because a lot of times we can get in as authors, we can get into trying to perfect our work. However, it's important for you to let somebody else lay eyes on it who has that experience of editing the work to get it done. I can remember, thinking back to when I was writing my first book, I was in that space too, like, oh my God, I need to figure out how to eliminate some of these things in the book. But the things that you could potentially be eliminating could be so important to the story. So I think that's why it's important to let an editor look at your work and just let it go from there. Whatever they suggest you need to edit, I would go with that. But I would totally, take that off my plate and give somebody else an opportunity who has that experience with editing to do that. With looking at software, there could be some potential software out there, but it's nothing like an actual person reading over the material, because there's some things that you're trying to convey in your story that only a person could feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, software is not going to feel that. So I think it's important to get an actual person who has the experience as an editor to take over and look at things, and then you process it through that.
That's correct. Go ahead.
As I said, I had 50 years in IT. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that we as people make is relying on the technology too much.
Mm-hmm.
Technology, I don't care about AI, all of that, and what you hear. You can get Chat GPT to put you out a perfect paragraph, description, whatever. But you need the human being. You really need the human being, especially the computer's not going to buy your work. People are going to buy your work. So the software can help a lot, and there's a lot of software out there. You can spend a lot of money, and it will look like a book report that you did in college instead of being something that a human being can relate to. So software is good. I'm not saying do not use it, because I have several software applications that I use, but it will never replace the input that you're going to get from a human being.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Use them both. Use them both. Absolutely.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if I could just make a comment to, just an addition to that, Tracy. Depending on the genre of the book that you're working on, I'm not sure, you didn't state, but when you're looking for an editor, find someone who works in that genre space, because different editors will edit things in different ways. And you have someone who is in horror, or someone who is in children's book or fiction, nonfiction, Christian. You want, any, whatever your genre is, trying to find an editor who works in that space, so they can relate a little bit better to your story, and they'll edit it in the way that you would hope for it to be edited, because some people will not have an understanding. So if you're writing in a Christian space, I wouldn't take it to someone who is not a Christian, because they may not understand when you talk about he, him, when you're talking about Christ, use those references. So I would just be mindful of the editor that you use. And I use my friends and people who you trust to give you good advice. I'll write a story and I'll give it to my son or my husband and say, just read that. They're like, what is that? Just read it. And they'll just give you that first off the top honest thing. Because one thing about my family, they do not sugarcoat anything. Like, what are you trying to say? What is this? Well, I go back to the drawing board. But I would just say, if you can find a few people that you trust to give you a good um, read and description or review of your work, that would also be good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sister Tracy, I hope this is helping. I know she did have additional comments about her beta readers, and she's writing in the Christian motivational genre, and she's creating a tool for coaching and small groups. So I think each of you have really helped her out tremendously. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of that. Avalon, you got questions? You know me, you got to jump in because I get so excited. I'll keep going.
I don't know. But I just want to, for author Renee, she's also a CEO of another big organization. Just tell us about that.
Okay, so, and Evelyn, Evelyn is my friend. I met Avalon, what is it now, 11 years now, Avalon, I think. So
Yes.
when we started the organization, my organization is Independent Authors Book Experience, and we're a nonprofit organization. We support independent authors through various workshops and events, and our main goal is to promote literacy in the community. So we started initially with the book expo, and we are now in our 12th year of hosting this book expo. We hosted in Union County. We've had authors from all across, locally, nationally, and internationally. We've had At our largest, we've had up to 67 authors participate in this event, from at least 25 different states. Internationally, people have come from Canada. We've had people from Nepal. You name it. They come from all over to participate in this event. And what it is, we created a space for independent authors to share their work, to access a wider audience than they'll probably get on their own, and they're able to sell, network, and really learn about their craft in I want to say, a safe space, but also a place where they're able to share and sell their work and meet other people, meet new readers and attendees and authors.
And what time of year?
Well, yeah, I like to pause so that you can get get a chance. So the event, we host this event in the fall. So this year, the event will be September 6th, 2025. It's going to be at Warnaco Sports Center from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. If anyone is interested in participating, they can visit our website at iabx.org. We also are coming off of that event. And I worked with an organization, and we were talking about learning loss in the summer for students and children. And what we started 2 years ago, we're now in our third year, is we're hosting a children's book festival. So if you're a children's book author or you're a young adult author, we have created a space for those authors specifically, where it's just for young people, just for young children. And that event is on June 7th this year, also at Warren Sports Center. And again, what we're trying to do is have children have books for the summer that they can read. The authors are there, they can sell the books. But what we try to do is, before the child leaves, because sometimes parents come to events and they participate because the events are all free, but they're not able to purchase a book for their child for whatever reason. However, before you leave, you get a book to go with your child. So you take a book, even if you're not able to buy one after you're visited with the other authors. And we're hoping that you do purchase, because that's the reason we're doing this. But if you're not able to purchase a book, you can get a book before you leave, because our main goal is to make sure that books are in the hands of children. We want them to be able to read. Sometimes children aren't able to go to the libraries, or just different things happen during the summer, and we want to make sure that they're still accessing books and they're able to read. So that's one of the things that we do. But as an organization, IABX, we have a lot of things going on. We have our author speaks, which we do monthly, where we invite authors in different genre to come in. We meet at the local library and talk about their books in their specific genre, and they're again connecting with the audience or the community, and just talking about their story. We have the Writers Cafe, where if you're an author and I should say you're not a published author, but if you have the desire to write and become a published author, then you can come to a Writers Cafe, and it's a free program again at the local library, and they come in and we work with. We just walk through the process, getting it out of your head and onto paper. And we've had during COVID, and after that we were virtual. So we had people logging in from from Pennsylvania, Las Vegas, Florida, all over, trying to get out of their head and onto paper. So there's a lot of things that we do that we're excited about, and we just want to make sure that we're engaging with the community and getting literacy. That's our biggest thing, literacy. Publishing, we do have a literacy program for children, which we do on Saturdays, Saturday morning. So there's a lot that we're as an organization, we're small, but we try to pack a lot in, because at the end of the day, we're making sure that we get books into the hands, get the authors' books into the hands of the community and the readers.
Wonderful.
What state are you in? Where are you located?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm in Union County, New Jersey.
Nice. Nice. Avalon, did you have a question?
No, I was just gonna say I have to get to one of those poetry nights. They also have poetry nights.
Yes,
I have
you
one
just.
poetry book.
Oh, we're having our open mic night is going to be in April, I think 19. So just come on down. Let me know. I'll put your name on the list so you can read some poems from your book, Avalon.
Yeah.
And you say your website is iabx.org.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We got one final break we need to take, and then when we come back, we'll have our closing comments from everybody. This has been a wonderful episode of Books and Besties, and I hope each of you are enjoying it as well. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's me, the Queen Bee, Dr. Angie BEE, and I'm inviting each of you to join me for a year in literacy. I'll be in Daytona Beach, Florida, February 20th through the 22nd for the 9th Annual Fresh Book Film Festival and the 14th Annual Fresh Book Festival. Join me February 20th at the Museum of Arts and Science, 352 South Nova Road, and the 2-day Fresh Book Festival at 925 George W. Ingram Boulevard in the beautiful city of Daytona Beach, Florida. Come out and meet authors, publishers, producers, on-air radio personalities, and more. Get your tickets at freshbookfestivals.net. Follow Fresh Book Fest on Facebook, or send an email to freshbookfestivals@gmail.com. It's a year in literacy. You don't want to miss it. Desmond's wish for Christmas is a blue scooter. He goes to bed early Christmas Eve, hoping that when he wakes up on Christmas Day, his wish has come true. The newest children's book from author Avalon S. Brown. Connect with the author on Instagram, author Avalon S. Desmond's Wish by author Avalon S. Brown. Now available. The Precious Petals of God, an anthology presented by visionary Diana C. Hill and a collection of anointed authors. Don't let this day go by without capturing a copy for yourself and secure another copy for someone else. An eclectic collection of stories symbolizing the flowers, the women of the Bible, and the authors. Contact any of the co-authors to purchase your copy, or purchase your copy on Amazon, and be sure to write a review. The Precious Petals of God, an anthology published by Angie BEE Productions and presented by visionary Diana C. Hill. We can help you put the pieces together. Audiobooks, flyers, commercials, and more. Angie BEE Productions on Facebook.
We are back. We are back with you, bringing you Books and Besties. This is our virtual book fair. And what we strive to do is bring you information about authors, publishers, ministry leaders, and community organizations to help better your situation. And we have had just a plethora of encouraging guests on the show today. And they've even introduced us to situations that they're trying to spread awareness for. And so I'm grateful for that. Gonna bring Avalon back in here, my co-host for today. Thank you, dear, for introducing us to so many of your friends.
Yes. You're welcome.
Avalon is a good friend to have. She keeps you around for a decade or so. I've been friends with Avalon 11 years, 12 years. Yeah, Avalon ain't getting rid of nobody.
Yes. Nope, not when I have good people around me. Nope. And I know you talk about how we help other authors, other people become authors. You never mention our page. If you're a part of Facebook, we do have a page called Becoming an Author with Avalon and Angie BEE. We are helping people produce their anthology and their books. So if you want to write a book or you have an anthology, just connect with us. Like she said, our latest one is Job Experience. So this, and what was the other one, Angie?
The Winds of Change.
Winds of Change. Yes.
Yeah.
Back together right now, looking for co-authors.
That is wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're gonna bring in Sister Patsy so she can give her closing comments. You got any thoughts that you'd like to include?
Oh, this has been great. This has been great. I've learned so much. I've got a whole page of notes going right here from all of the other guests that you've had on today, Angie. It's been a wonderful experience, and all I want to say is that you're never too old. It doesn't matter where you are in your life or what phase. We all pass through those phases, and then people get to the point where they become a senior citizen or whatever, and this life doesn't stop there. Your dreams don't stop there, and you still can make them come true. So don't stop, don't give up, keep going. And there are resources out there. I mean, you guys you have a plethora of resources, for beginning authors or people who just think they might want to put something down on paper. So thank you again. It has been an honor and a pleasure. And I wish all of the guests and you and Avalon, the most success, because you're doing work that is sorely needed. So thank you so much.
And before we go, how can we get in touch with you?
I have a Facebook author page. They just Google Facebook Patsy Robertson author. They can go to my Facebook author page. I have an Amazon author page. You can go there. Also, Instagram is PC Robertson 9. And then my website is patsyrobertson.com.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, Sister Portia, you come on in to let us know you got any closing thoughts or suggestions and how we can get in touch with you again.
Of course. Thank you so much to you, Miss Avalon, for having me here to talk about everything that I'm doing with my books. Of course, I want to encourage everyone out there to stay connected with me at Bright Books Club on Instagram, as well as Bright Books Club TV on YouTube. I actually have some new music out. My song is called "My Future Is Bright." So that's really encouraging everyone to tap into some of them things that you've been dreaming about, but you just haven't had the courage to go out and achieve those things. And so this was one of those motivational anthems I'm encouraging you to check out. It's on all music platforms, wherever you're getting your music at, Spotify, iTunes, wherever. And I'm looking forward to connecting. Of course, my website is brightbooks.org, where you can, check out my merch or pick up any books or anything of that nature.
Okay, sounds good. Sister Smith, it's your turn. You got any closing thoughts or comments, and how can we get in touch with you?
Okay, first I just want to say thank you again for the invitation, Miss Avalon. Thank you, Miss Angie BEE, for hosting. And I was late to the party, but thank you, Patsy and Portia. And as far as getting in touch with me, you can meet for my nonprofit IABX. The website is iabx.org. If you'd like to participate in any of the events, the Book Expo or the Children's Book Festival, you can register online at our website. My books are available on my website. It's Renee Smith, ReneeSmith.com. So you can get my books there, or they're also available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble, as well as in Walmart, some of the books. And then if you want to connect with me on social media, it's just author Renee, and it's author RENAEE. You'll see a little R that looks like a butterfly. That's my symbol. So you can reach me there. But again, thank you so much. I wish you all the best. It was great meeting all of you ladies. I really had a good time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, if it is the Lord's will, we'll be back on another Saturday morning at 11 a.m. with another episode of Books and Besties. Be sure you share this link with somebody you know, because we got so much knowledge and information. We want to be sure that they receive it. If you're not watching us on March 1st, 2025, then you're watching the replay. So please put hashtag replay in your comments and let us know where you're watching from, your city, state, country. We want to be sure that we're reaching everyone with this good information on Books and Besties. All right, everybody, go on and enjoy the rest of your weekend and be blessed.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Mhm.